I want to know what was your goal for 2025 and where are you at in reaching that goal for 2025? I know we only got a few weeks left of the year. And so I'm curious because a lot of times we'll set really big goals at the beginning of the year and then things start to trickle off. So, what was your goal and are you on track to hit that goal or how close are you to that goal? Did not come into the year with a goal. Whatever it could have been, did not get met. Okay. Okay. How many? Yeah, and I think that happens a lot too, where maybe we're just showing up and doing the things, and we kind of get in that rut of like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but we don't actually think about what needs to happen in order to hit a goal or to reach a goal. And I'll talk to a lot of folks and they'll say, oh, I want to make 10,000 a month or I want to make 15,000 a month or they want to, X amount number per month, but then they don't reverse engineer it and they don't put out enough productivity or they don't have a system to help them hit that goal. So we're just kind of showing up and winging it every day. I'm in the same place as Marina. I honestly can't remember my 2025 goals. That's why I'm here to show up better in 2026. Okay, cool. So let's talk about what you want to make in 2026. Okay. If you could wave a magic wand, and I'm not talking about, you know, what you think you can make. Like, I want to actually know what you want to make. And if that feels scary, you can put like a realistic number and then a big goal number. But I want to get a good idea of where you guys are at so that we can also come up with systems and plans to be able to hit those goals. Okay. So if you could wave a magic wand, what do you want to make in 2026? Is it a monthly amount? Is it an annual amount? Tell me what you want to make in 2026. Okay. Looks like we had a couple more people hopping in. What would be that wave a magic wand? I would say the number that I hear the most is, that magical 10K, but it's all over. I've seen everywhere from, 3 to 5,000 to 20 to 50,000. So, I've seen it all. Okay, 2,500 a month, 5 to 6 per month consistently, 100K a year. Okay, awesome. Anybody else? 10K a month. Okay. 5,000 a month between both businesses. Okay, I'm assuming, well, it says branded B insurance, so I'm assuming you do insurance, and then you'll have to let me know what your other business is too. So, okay. So we're going to talk about the Q1 mindset shift, how we can really start focusing on getting ourselves set up for success in Q1 in those 90 days so that the rest of the year feels easier. Because what ends up happening is we have these big goals, but we don't have a plan to do those goals. And then next thing you know, it's December and we're like, crap, I don't have a goal and I didn't meet where I wanted to be. Okay. We're going to talk about how to compress your sales timeline. So, how to take someone from maybe 3 to 6 months to maybe 3 to 6 weeks or even 3 to 6 days. All right. And then we're going to talk about how to 10x your activity without burning out. And I don't mean working more hours. I want to show you systems and automations and things that you can do to simplify your day and how many people you are connecting with. And then we're going to talk about sales skills that actually convert. We're going to go through some objection handling, some things that I would say differently, things that I see people say and things that I say differently in order to move the needle forward. And then whatever questions you guys have at the end. And then I have a special offer for you as well. Okay. And 2 people will get VIP coaching sessions given away at the end. So stay in here as long as you can. But my assumption is you're here because you either want clients, you want to close more deals, and you just want more cash flow, cash collected. All right. And that's not just grabbing more leads and more leads and more leads. More leads can be helpful, but if we're not closing the leads that we actually have, if we're not honing in on the skills that are going to get us the cash, it doesn't really matter how many people you get in front of if you don't have the right conversion strategies. Okay. And so we're going to talk about a full client getting system that's going to move people from this, oh, I don't know, or I'm thinking about it, or maybe to the I'm in stage. Okay. All right. Basically says the same thing. So for those of you who do not know me or know Sales Mama, I really, really love to work with service providers who work in real time. So this can be anybody who really has a service that they sell. That is really my ideal type of person. We do work with product-based businesses as long as the products are like that higher ticket type of product. We don't do lower ticket product. That's kind of a different sales model. Not that I'm not familiar with it, it's just a little bit different sales model than what we're going to talk about here. So, if you are a coach, if you are a consultant, if you are selling higher end products, this is actually going to be very, very helpful for you. And I want to find a way to create a system that's going to get you back more time, more energy, more freedom so that you can focus on the things that matter most to you. So, for example, your family or maybe your horses or just something outside of work because yes, work is important and yes, even what we do, may light us up, but that's where burnout happens and that's where we start to spiral and we're not really successful. So we're going to talk about frameworks on how to support that and not just concepts, not just theories, actual things that I have done and that work for me. And then for those of you who do not know me, I do have four kids. They're a little bit younger. They're 2, 4, 6, and 8. My 2 and 4-year-old go to part-time daycare a couple days a week, and then my 6 and 8-year-old are in school. And so I work majority of the time while they are gone. So my typical workday looks like 9 to 2, where I'm doing trainings like this, where I'm doing calls, sales calls, team calls, prospecting, all of that type of stuff. And then outside of that time, I really try to focus on being with my family, being with, my horses, doing things as a family. Okay. I have ran a multi six-figure business for many, many years. I think my first 10K month was back in 2017, 2018, something like that. And I mean, when you hit that first 10K, you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. But then if you don't have the right things in place, you'll also be like, where did it all go? So that's another thing that we can talk about today as well. I also do sales trainings for higher companies or bigger companies, 7, 8, 9-figure companies. And I think I've closed probably closer to 15 or 20 million total, but on an annual basis, right around $2 million per year for my consulting clients. So I'm on these calls, I'm doing these calls. It is not just me preaching to you. I actually do calls. Like even this afternoon, I have sales calls for another person in addition to myself. So um, and I really want to help you sell your offers without feeling like you're being that bro tactic or that pushy or that gross or anything like that. We really want you to feel in alignment, authentic, what works for you, because if you don't, you won't do it. And that's not going to get you any results. Okay. So let's talk about the mindset shift first. Okay. How many, and I know we just talked about this a little bit, but I know there was a few people that hopped on after I had asked that. But how many of you set a revenue goal in 2025 and you're still trying to hit that goal? Okay. This is an us problem, a we problem, and like a you problem. It's not necessarily a system problem because if you're doing the activity, the daily activity, you will find clients. You will move the needle forward. But a lot of times it's that mindset shift of I don't know what I need to do. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. How much do I have to show up for this? I'm tired. So I'm curious what mindset blocks or thoughts or feelings come up for you guys when you think about hitting your goals or when you are trying to get clients and maybe you aren't as successful as you would like to be, what are some of the thoughts and feelings that come up for you? Is it like imposter syndrome? Is it, I don't know what I'm doing? Is it that maybe this offer doesn't resonate? I want to know what kind of stuff is coming up for you guys when you are pitching to your clients and how you are reacting to that. Not necessarily what they are saying, but how you are reacting to that. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'm curious where everybody's mind is at today. Okay, insurance and equine remedial therapy. Awesome. So what type of mindset stuff comes up for you when you think about growing your business, getting more clients, scaling? What are the things that kind of come up? Challenges making the call. Once I'm on the call, I'm generally well received. Okay. So I'm curious what comes up for you prior to making the call. Is it just making time for the call or not sure what to say or how to get them on a call? Another person, imposter syndrome, wanting to do all the things and actually not getting anything done or burning myself out because I was too hyper focused. Yeah, this is something that comes up a lot is be this all or nothing mindset too, where it's like we have to go, 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 go. And then it's like, holy shit, I am so burnt out. Like I'm going to do nothing. And so what I teach is sustainability because a little bit every day, that consistency is going to get you farther faster than if you do 100 outreaches on a Sunday and then nothing else for a week or two. Okay. So these are all good things. These are all things that we're going to talk about today too. Okay. But what ends up happening when I'm working with folks and ask them about their goals or what they're doing, and so for the year, I mean, there's even people that I've worked with in this last couple of months. I'm like, all right, we need to start planning for 2026. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you want to have a successful business, you need to have your year mapped out before the year comes. It's just like if you were going to go on a road trip, like you know where you're going before you get in the car. Most people, unless you're just kind of, seeing where you're going to land. But it's really hard to hit a goal when you don't know where you're going. So think about your business as if you are planning for a road trip, okay? Where are you going? Where are you stopping? What do you need to do? How much money do you need? Who is going to be involved? What are you packing? It's the same thing with your business. We need to start thinking about it that way. And what ends up happening is we're just showing up and doing the things and hoping that people will come to us. And so this is what it looks like. We're right at the end of the year, the new year is coming, and people will say, oh, I'm so excited. This is my year. This is my year. This is what I'm going to do. These are all the things that I'm going to do. And they're very ambitious, but then they have no actual plan for how they're going to achieve those goals. So then March comes around, Q2 is showing up, and people are blaming that Q1 was slow. It was because it was the winter, people weren't ready, or I had something happen, and this next quarter is going to be so much different. In the next 90 days, I'm going to get focused. But then again, they don't have a plan, they don't have a system, they don't have something that's rinse and repeat that's going to save them time and energy and make them more money. So then what happens? Summertime rolls around. And we use the same excuse of summer is always slow. Oh, I'm just going to take it easy because it's summertime and I want to do this and I want to do that. But in reality, if you have the systems and automations and things set up, if you have your daily agenda of what you need to do every single day, summer doesn't have to be a slow month. Okay. So then Q3 comes around and then we say, oh, everybody's going back to school and everybody's just getting, we make an excuse for every single quarter on why we haven't hit our goal. And then now we're in December saying, next year is going to be different. Next year is going to be different. So I want to make sure that for those of you who are here, that 2026 is actually different, that we're not just going to talk about it, that we're actually going to do something about it. Okay. And that's why we're all here today. And I don't, again, want you to think that this is about working harder. It's not doing more, posting more, saying more, while more will help. Sustainability is what's really going to make a difference. Okay. Are we showing up every day? Are we doing the things that we need to every day? Okay. That is going to be the thing that moves the needle forward versus doing this all or nothing type of mindset. And so typically people are missing three things. They're letting their prospects, their leads control the sales timeline. Your activity isn't actually moving deals forward. Your activity is all over the place, or your activity is not giving people a direction. Just like we're lacking goals for the year, we're lacking goals and intentions within the conversation. And so then that way the conversation just circles around, circles around, circles around. Okay. And then when we do have conversations, we're not asking the right questions to move them forward, to get them to take action, to get them to do something. And what comes up here is people are afraid that they're being pushy, or they're afraid that they're going to say the wrong thing, or they want to be liked, or they're not sure how to move the conversation forward. And so I want you to let go of all of those things because we're going to talk about those things. Okay. Because what's possible in Q1, I mean, this gal here had a $40,000 deal close in Q1. What would it mean for you to land a $40,000 deal in 90 days? Okay. And this was one of her bigger deals. But this is something that can happen where you can hit your entire annual goal, your entire 2026 goal, or set yourself up to hit your 2026 goal in 90 days. It does not have to be this all over the year. You can do the amount of activity in that first quarter that will carry you through the rest of the year. Okay. And that's the things that we want to talk about today is how you can have consistent 10K months or even 100K quarters. Okay. Like it is absolutely possible. And if you're thinking to yourself, like, that could never be me, I want you to stop because it absolutely can be you. Whether you have one business or two businesses, or you start to invest in yourself and that, invest in your, you know, retirement or something along those lines, and that starts to compound over time, you can make the amount of money that you want to make, but it starts with believing in yourself and then doing the activity that's going to follow. All right. And having the right people in your network, in your surroundings to then cheer you on, because nothing will kill momentum than like having somebody in your corner or near you or around you that says, that's impossible. That'll never happen. I don't know why you're trying to do this thing. So making sure that you're having the right uplifting conversations will help get you farther faster too. Okay. It's like having borrowed belief. All right. So this December, this month, what is it, the 11th? So we got about 2, 3 weeks left of the month. And I would love for people to take some time off, obviously, around Christmas. Like people shouldn't be, in my opinion, working Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Maybe a little bit of posting or something like that or scheduling things out. But really, we want to focus on building our pipeline prior to that, tightening up our systems prior to that so that we are really set to take off come January. And so then January hits, we launch strong, we have a solid offer, we're booking calls and we're closing deals. And so we need to reverse engineer, what is your current close rate? Are you working on your current sales skills? Because how many people do you need to get on your calendar in order to hit those goals? So if you need to convert 2 people per week and you have a 20% close rate, you need to book at least 10 calls per week. And so how many calls do you need to, or how many conversations do you need to have in order to book that many calls? Is it 30 conversations? Is it 20 conversations? And the more you can hone in on your sales skills, you can actually condense that timeline by improving your sales, your close rate. Okay. And then February comes around, we'll really start capitalizing on momentum. We're going to scale what's working. We're going to double down on what's working. And I'm a big believer in automating as much as we can and even having ads and other systems in place to where we can get in front of more people, because it is the more money you make, the more money you can make and the more you can give. It's that abundance factor, but it's hard to get in that place when we're in a place of scarcity or I don't know what works for me. Okay. And then March rolls around and you'll either be on track to hit your goals, or you may have already hit your first 6 months of goals, or hell, there's some people who even hit their annual goal within 90 days. Okay. So what we want to do is make sure that we have the activity to set that up for success. So we're going to talk about different skills that you need and different systems that you need to actually execute on this. All right. So who here, out of curiosity, has invested in a CRM, a customer relationship management system, and are using that to track their leads? Just type yes or no in the chat. Do you have a customer management system? Okay, yes, no, no, okay, no. Okay, your company does. Yes. Okay. So a couple of you have some systems and a couple of you do not. So perfectly fine. Um, my next question is, how many of you have taken a sales training in the past, a paid sales training or a paid sales mentorship in the past, where you have actually hired somebody to help you hone in on your sales skills? Just type yes or no in the chat. Okay, yes, no, 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 no class, but signed up with a coach. Okay. Okay. What about curious on the marketing end of it? So think visibility, publicity, getting in front of other people. How many of you have taken a paid training or a paid class or have hired a coach to help you with visibility, getting in front of more people? This can be also like social media stuff. Like a lot of times people will think social media marketing is the only type of marketing. So they'll sign up with a social media mentor, um, but don't think about all the other things that could be helpful. Yes, yes. Okay. Anybody else sign up for marketing help at some point? Hmm. Yes. Okay. Yes. And a couple no's. What's interesting is Without sales, we don't have a business. Like without sales, there is no cash flow to support the business. And so what most people will end up doing is thinking that, oh, if I just get in front of more leads, that will solve the sales problem. When in reality, that is so far from the truth. And you can have an entire business just built on sales and have very little marketing if you know how to connect with people and if you know where to find people. And each and every one of you here has a social media following, has a phone with numbers in it. Each of you could go into local businesses. Each of you could start cold calling. All of these things are sales techniques that will help you scale your business without ever even having to tap into marketing. So I just always find it very interesting that people go straight to marketing because I think that might be the easy button. Oh, if I just get in front of more people and say the right things, that they'll just automatically buy. But that's not the case. There is a very small percentage of our society that is action takers that are just going to go find a thing and just go buy it. Most people need to have a conversation. They need nurturing. They need to know that they're seen, heard, and understood. And they have, can have fears and insecurities and thoughts and all of these things on will this work for me or not? And so the sales conversation happens there, not necessarily in the marketing, where marketing can help you overcome that. But if you're not getting in front of enough people or the right people, it's going to be very hard to convert those people. And so this is where sales techniques can really take you to that next level. So we want to compress our sales timeline and how many people we're talking to and when you're talking to them so that you can actually make enough money to then put resources into your marketing. Okay. And so I'm curious for you guys, what is the thing that is dragging out your sales timeline right now? Is it that people are objecting? Is it that you're not having enough conversations? What is the thing that is dragging out your sales timeline right now? What is the biggest roadblock in your sales right now, your sales timeline right now? First thing that comes to mind. I talk too much, lack of time to consistently be marketing, the actual client's not answering me or procrastinating the conversation, connections, not getting responses to cold messages and emails. Okay. Okay. Perfect. And so, not saying that that's a good thing. This is just seeing where everybody's at, right? Because this ultimately is costing you time and energy and money. And when you have deals that move too slow or you don't have the right type of people that we're talking to, this we end up taking it personally and then we can start to spiral. This isn't working. I don't know what to say. All of the mindset blocks that come along with it. Okay. And so what ends up happening is people will say, "Oh yeah, I'm interested, but I need to think on it. Oh yeah, I'm interested, but I have to talk to so and so. Oh yeah, I'm interested, but insert this, and this." Okay. And then you never hear from them again. It's crickets. It's they ghost you, or maybe they are watching your stuff, but they never respond to your stuff, or they take weeks or months to be able to decide. And then by then, the momentum is dead, or that offer no longer exists. And then you have to have another conversation with them about what the new offer looks like. Okay. How many here, when you are following up with people, you feel like you're chasing them? Like, ugh, I feel annoying, or I don't want to chase people. So we just don't do it always. Yeah. Yep. But then I'm curious on the flip side, how are you as a buyer? Are you somebody that needs to have several conversations? Are you somebody who's a fast action? I'm just gonna buy it when I buy it. Like how are you as a buyer all the time? I feel like I'm bugging them. Yeah. So now think of you as a buyer. How are you as a buyer? Do you need to have a conversation with someone? Have you ghosted people before? Are you not replying to other people's messages? Or are you that like, nope, I see it, I want it, I need it now? Think about yourself as a buyer. Guilty. And so the reason that I'm a quick buyer, okay, if it's something that you like, you're like, yep, I'm gonna do it. Who else? What type of buyer are you? I'm a ghoster, especially with two littles at home. Yep. And so, not saying that this goes for everybody, but what happens more often than not is how we buy is a lot of times how people will then buy from us because we are projecting that energy out into other people. Okay. Let's see here. A perpetual overthinker, guilty of waiting for the right time. And I'm curious if you get that objection a lot, or Marina, if you're getting a lot of the like, I have to think about it objections, right? Because what we're putting out there is typically what we will get back. Okay. Um, I'm a quick buyer. I want to win, but they have to be able to answer my questions first. Yeah, and this is a personality type where if somebody doesn't give you what you need immediately, you're like, you're too slow. See you later. Move on. Okay. I have been like that before too. Guilty for sure. I ghost if I don't want to say yes. The people pleaser in me, and I don't want to say no, but also ghosting ticks people off more. Yeah. Who here really enjoys being ghosted? Anybody? No, it's like, would you just say what you think? Well, how can we expect other people to say what they think when we're not actually saying what we really think? Okay. And how can we expect people to make quick decisions if us ourselves are not making quick decisions or setting them up for success to make a quick decision? Okay. Don't give up on me and I'll come back around. Yeah, same. I need a follow up. Yeah. How many here are just busy and they see something and then you're like, oh, I meant to respond to those people. And then poof, it's gone. Probably everybody here. And so that's why it is so important to follow up with people because life happens, life gets busy, people forget. Okay. And so we want to make sure that we are staying top of mind, but that we're not letting our emotions control the situation. So at the same time, we need to show up and do the activity, but we need to stay emotionally unattached from their outcome because once we start to place expectations on other people, how many people here do really well with expectations? Hey, take out the trash, take out the trash, take out the trash, take out the trash. If you're anything like me, I'm never going to take out the trash now, just because you've asked me 10 times. Like, I will do it when I want to do it, right? But if you say it in a way of like, hey, Sasha, I could really use your help here. I'd love for you to take out the trash. And then I take a step back and I don't nag them same day, same day, same day, same day, on top of it, on top of it, on top of it, chances are I'm going to take out the trash pretty quickly. Okay. So it's this give and take. It's this push and pull. It's this, for those of you who have horses, when you apply pressure, but then you take away pressure. Okay. And then they follow you. They follow you when you don't put a ton of pressure on it. So I'm not emotionally attached to anybody's outcome because ultimately it is up to them to make a decision. And if I drag somebody across the finish line, guess what? I'm going to have to continue dragging them. But I can ask questions. They're going to show them their own internal pressure, their own internal sense of urgency. And so that's why it's so important that when we're following up, we're not just, hey, just checking in. Hey, just following up. Hey, this, hey, that. We're asking questions. They're going to reignite that conversation. Okay. Let's see here. Whoops. I didn't mean for that to happen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen again? It paused for some reason. Okay. So I want you guys to take control of the conversation, take control of their timeline. You set the pace. You set the pace. You are the one that really needs to be the leader in this situation. And so the analogy that I like to get is if you were going to a doctor for advice, you expect them to naturally ask you questions that would guide you to make a decision or would guide you to make that next step. But when somebody is just coming to you and you're like, oh yeah, no big deal this or no big deal that, or what are your goals, blah 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 blah, and you're not being specific about it, they're not going to they're going to have zero sense of urgency. If they have a problem, we want to call the problem out. If they're struggling with something, we want to call that out. We want to ask deeper questions. What is that costing you every day? What is that, for example, if we're talking about sales, by you guys not following up, how much money is that costing you every day? By you not hitting your goals, what does that mean for you, for your family? What does that mean for you, for yourself? What is it not allowing you to do in your life? Maybe there's a vacation. Maybe you want to buy a house. Maybe you want to pay down debt. So by you not doing these daily activities, it's not really about the daily activities. It's about the things that it allows you to do on the back end. And so think about that within your business right now by you not asking the hard questions of what they are struggling with or what they are challenged with. What is it really costing them? Okay. What is it really costing them to not do the thing that you have? And that's where this conversation can get a little bit deeper. And there are people who are just curious. And so you can straight up ask them, are you curious? Or are you committed? Are you committed to solving this problem? Or are you just curious what it could look like for you to solve this problem? And that will also gauge how much time and energy you put into this prospect or this person, whether they need nurturing or whether they need closing. Okay. And that's what we want to do is guide the conversation so that we can get a clear answer. Because there's nothing worse than maybe energy. Maybe energy is awful. Either be a yes or be a no and just own it. Because the more that you can own that, the more you will be able to help your clients own that because you have then also gone through that experience. Maybe energy to me is like trying to blow up a balloon with a hole in it. It's just exhausting. You're never going to get a full balloon because you're just leaking and leaking and leaking energy everywhere. It's one of those things that you're constantly thinking about in the back of your mind, but never actually making a decision. And it takes up mental space and it takes up your time by constantly thinking about a thing instead of just making a decision and like bless and release, let it go. Okay. You either move forward or you don't move forward. All right. And when we can get that type of commitment out of our people too, you are that much more clear on who you need to connect with and when. Okay. So, when this happens, when you have a deal that is months long or days long, or you're having that like checking back in energy all the time, okay? You could actually spend this time and energy on closing other people who are committed and not just curious. And that mental energy you're going to get back because you'll now know, okay, I don't have to follow up with this person. I need to follow up with these people. I need to focus my time and energy over here. And this is why CRMs are so helpful as well, is because you can put these notes in there and you know exactly who to follow up and when to follow up with them. But money will really slow down when you have these deals that drag on, okay? Because now you're chasing people. Now you're like having that desperate energy. And who here has felt like they've had that desperation energy before trying to get a client? Yeah, I see some head nods. Yeah. And that's not a good feeling to have. Not a good feeling. Yep, exactly. And so when you have that desperation energy, those people feel it and they are much more likely to not make a decision. They are much more likely to ghost you when you put that desperate versus holding space for them. There is an entirely different energy about how you are showing up. And so I want you to start thinking about how can you lead the conversation versus how can I just get a sale, get a sale, get a sale, get a sale, get a sale. That is that old, outdated kind of masculine bro tendencies of just flying through and treating everybody like a number. You know, sales is a numbers game. Yes, that's true to an extent, but if you want to build a heart-centered business that is also making an impact on people, you need to treat people, not like numbers. Okay. And so, how do we want to do that? All right. Leading from day one, from the very first message, you set the timeline, you set the frame, you set the tone. Okay. Who here loves clear expectations? I do. I love clear. Let me know what we're going to be doing. There's nothing worse than having wishy-washy messaging or wishy-washy expectations. So in your DMs or on your phone calls, telling people, this is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. This is how we work together. This is what it's going to look like. I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to talk for 30 minutes. I'm going to dig into, is it okay if I ask you some questions about XYZ to see if I'm able to help you? You set the expectation of what's going to happen next. This also happens when you're sending emails and following up with people. Hey, so and so, here's all the things. If I don't hear back in this amount of time, I'm going to give you a call. I'm going to send you another email. I'm going to keep following up with you until you give me an answer. Okay. So setting that expectation that they need to come to a yes, no decision. Okay. And it's fine if they say no. Great. No, now's not the time. Do you mind if I follow up with you in 3 months from now? Do you think you'll be in a better position then? Or is this a no, not ever? Clear expectations. But a lot of times we're afraid of what happens if they say no, not ever. Great. Bless and release. That's going to make space for the next person to come into your circle, into your community, so that they can say yes to you. Because why do you want a bunch of people like hanging around that are going to be no's or not nows or not evers? You don't want to build an audience like that. You want to build an audience that is ready to buy. And so we set that expectation straight from the beginning. Hey, so and so, I'm so glad you're here. What brings you to my page today? Is it because of this, this, or this? Okay. Not just, hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the follow. What brings you here today? Are you focusing on this problem, or this problem, or did you find me through something else? Okay. Or if somebody books a call, hey, great, here's your call. This is what we can expect during the call. We're going to talk about this, 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 and this. And you have the auto reminders to also set the intention that they need to show up for this call. One thing that I have in my calls is that people have to reconfirm the call. Like, yes, they're going to show up. Yes, they've read this information. Yes, they're ready to have a conversation with me. And if they're not, I will cancel the call. Like I'm to the point, and I want you guys to get to this point too, that we don't have time or energy for tire kickers. Like if you really want to take your business to the next level, you have to start showing up as the business owner that does not have time and energy for tire kickers. Because if you had a full plate right now, a full client load, would you even be talking to those people who are maybes or not nows? Probably not. You would probably be spending a very small fraction of your month following up with people who are not actively engaged because you would be focusing on the yes people. So I want you to start thinking of your business as it's already flourishing, it's already thriving, you already have a full client load. Who are you actually going to say yes to, and what is your filter for getting those people in? That is a confident energy. That is conviction with what you are selling, and setting the expectation of you need to meet this criteria, this criteria, this criteria in order for us to work together. Okay. And when you can start saying those things, people will then not only respect you, but it starts to command respect because you're not bending over backwards. You're not wavering. How many times when, you've, at least for me, have lost respect on somebody when they said they were going to do something, but then they didn't actually do it. And you're like, oh, maybe this person isn't that serious. Or if you've been following somebody online for a while and they're posting, 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 and then they just ghost, and it's like, oh, maybe their business wasn't as successful as I thought. Maybe they're not as serious about this as I thought they were. Has anybody ever had that feelings? I know I have. I'm curious to see where you guys are at. And if you set expectations with your clients, with your leads, with your prospects. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay. So, what does this actually sound like? In the DMs. Hey, so and so, I'd love to connect about this. I'd love to chat about this. I have openings this week on Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 10. Which works better for you? It's not, let me know whenever you're free. Let me know when you have time. Let me know, because if it's actually a priority for them, if it's actually urgent, they will commit to a time where they'll say, you know what, I don't have those times open. Do you have another time that's available? Okay. Let me know when you're free. When is anybody here ever free? When is anybody here ever not busy? Exactly. Exactly. So basically, you're saying, let me know never. You might as well just say that. Okay. And so if you have these activities on your daily list of what you're going to be doing, sales calls, content, outreach, follow-ups, you're not going to have endless time anyways. You're only going to have a specific amount of time. And then once your time is capped, that's where you will start bringing in team members if and when you're ready for that. So for example, even like right now, right now, if I were to go message somebody, the only time that I have available on my calendar today is 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. The only other time I have on this week is I have one more spot for Saturday, Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Okay. And I normally don't take Saturday calls unless I do live trainings or big launches or big events, and I'll open up a Saturday. But otherwise, Saturdays are usually closed off. So it's not falsely saying, let me know whenever you're free, because then if they do and they tell me, you know what, Sausha, I want to talk at noon today. Well, sorry about your luck. I'm actually doing a live training. So then you have to have a whole conversation about that. Okay. So we're setting expectations on when you can actually talk with somebody and then working it out from there. Okay. Not ever. Let me know when you're free. Let me know when you get this. And I know that that can be a big transition. I mean, there's even times where I catch myself saying this in everyday life. I'm like, oh, let me know when you get a minute. It's like they're never going to get a minute. They're never going to get a minute. Okay. So just know that even I catch myself saying this sometimes, but we really want to be specific on what our expectations are. And then on a call, in the beginning of your call, this is why it's so important to have clarity on the expectations and what they're currently struggling with. So when I start a call, hey, so and so, we're going to have this amount of time together and we're going to talk about this, this, and this, and I'm going to ask you some questions. How does that sound? Okay. Set the expectation for the call and what they're going to get out of the call. If at the end of this it feels like a good fit, we're going to do this, this, and this. How does that sound? Okay. Set the expectation for what happens after that call. And then even saying, based on what you share, what you've talked about, what you've said in the past 30 minutes, I think it would be a great fit for us to work together. I actually have two spots open right now for this. Did you want to go ahead and claim one of them? Ask for the sale. Ask for the sale. Most people will say, look things over and get back to me when you can. How many of you here are guilty of doing that? Look this over and get back to me. Yeah. Most people, right? Most people will do something like that. And again, how many emails do you guys get in a day? On average, I probably get 200 to 300 emails per day in just one of my inboxes. Okay. Yeah, 200 plus. Yeah, exactly. So when are you going to sit down and filter through your emails and then go look through all of the information and then actually have the time to make a decision? Very rarely. So that's why we want to help people make decisions on a call if possible. And if we can't do it in the first call, set a follow-up call where you can help them make that decision. Okay. Because very rarely people will go back and look at all the things they say they will, but very rarely do they. There's like one personality type that's going to be a deep dive into all of the information. And that's going to be one of those strategic thinkers, what we would call an emerald personality, where they need lots and lots and lots and lots of detail to make a decision. And even then, they are the perfectionist type of personality. I know this because my husband is, and he wants to know all of the black and whites and all the details and all the pros and cons, and then he'll make a decision 6 months from now. Does anybody have somebody like that in their life? Are you that person? And it can really be a hindrance. It really can be because there's so many times he's lost out on opportunities because he's overthinking when he had all of the information to make a decision in the first place, right? My husband is that way and it drives me nuts. Yeah, my husband's that way too. He's like, I need to see all of the data. I'm like, what are you, a researcher? Like, I mean, I'm a researcher, don't get me wrong. I love to learn information, but at the same time, if I know that I need to do something, I just do it and I try not to think too much about it. But this also goes, not Sasha. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm Sapphire Ruby. I need to, win at all costs, but also let's make it fun. So, okay, but we're not going to say, what do you think? Do you need time to think about it? I mean, you can ask those questions on the call, like, hey, do you need to think about anything before we move forward? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns before we move forward? Okay. So is mine, and he's always back and forth. And then I'm the overthinker, but he is times 100. Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's just like, oh my gosh. So, how can we set people up for success on how to make a decision by giving them the right information, by answering their questions, by creating a sense of urgency? Maybe not so much from us, but they have that internal urgency, right? What is this actually costing you by not doing this thing? Okay. So, for example, if in life insurance, I used to sell life insurance. Okay. The sense of urgency isn't on me. Like, I don't care if you buy this right now or not. But what happens if you don't do this today and then this person that you're getting life insurance on passes away next month, but you wanted to follow up in 3 months? What happens then? What's your plan then? Okay. Again, it doesn't affect me. How is it affecting you? Health and wellness. Okay. All right. Maybe you're 50 pounds overweight and your hormones are out of whack. Okay, great. Like it's not really affecting me that you're 50 pounds overweight and that your hormones are out of whack. But if you wait 3 months, what does that mean for you, for your health, for your kids, for your doctor bills, the medications, whatever it is that you're like, if you continue on this path, what is that actually going to be costing you? Okay. That's an internal pressure. That's not me pressuring them because I don't care what they choose. They can choose to be overweight and have their hormones out of whack for the rest of their life, and that's their life. That's their choice. But if they're here asking for support with something, it's up to me to be the leader in that conversation and ask the hard questions that maybe nobody else is. Okay. If you're doing marketing support for somebody, if you're doing done for you type of support for somebody, what's this costing you by spending 10 hours a week doing this? What could you do in those other 10 hours? Could you make more sales? Could you get more time back? Could you go to your kids' wrestling meets or writing lessons or what is it that you could do in those 10 hours if I were to take this off your plate? What would that actually mean for you? Okay? It's less about the actual thing and what the thing gets them. Does this make sense? And so when we are so hyper focused on the thing, that's where we lose sight of how we're actually helping people. Yes, great. This is going to help them get that thing, but we're not going to over explain all, oh, you get this and you get this and you get this and you get this and you get, well, now you've lost the person because now it feels overwhelming and it feels like you're not listening to them and they're just trying to sell to you or you're just trying to sell to them. Okay. So next, when they say I need to think about it, here's what most people do. And maybe you guys are guilty. If you're guilty, put guilty. Okay, no problem. Take your time, get back to me. Okay, no problem. No, no big deal. No worries. All good. Yeah. Yeah, I see some hands going up. Okay. So here's what I do in this situation. Yeah, I get that. Most people need to think about things before they make a decision. But what do you actually need to think about? Is it the investment? Is it the timing? Is it something else? I'll say, walk me through your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking. Brain dump me. What specifically do you need to think about? What is the thing that's coming up for you right now? Okay. Because think about it is not an objection. Think about it is not, that's not a way to leave a call. That is maybe energy. There is something that they need to think about. It's up to you to figure out what that is. Do they need to talk to somebody? Do they not have enough confidence that this is going to work for them? Is it the money? Can you help them work on a way to get the money? A good business owner, a good salesperson will work with the people to find a way to make it happen if it's something that they want bad enough. Whether it's like how many people here, if you go to have gone to, go buy a car or go buy a house or really anything, and you see the thing that is in your budget, and then you see the thing that's just outside your budget, but it really checks all the boxes. How many times have you guys blown the budget or found the money for the thing that you actually wanted? I know I have. There's been times I'm like, I'm not going to spend more than this. And then I end up spending double it. So, like, is the investment an actual objection or are they just complaining about the price? Because if it's something that they actually need, they'll probably buy it. Have you expressed enough value, enough need for them to actually say yes? I'll take this to the extremes because that's typically what I do with like clients. And I'm like, if you had the cure for cancer, you have the cure for cancer. Are you just going to be like, yeah, take your time. Let me know. Let me know if you don't want to die next week. No big deal. It's a very big deal. It's a very big deal. So why are you not treating your stuff like it's a big deal? Because if you have this, oh, no big deal energy about what you can provide for somebody, guess what? They're going to have a no big deal energy about getting back to you and maybe don't really think that you can solve their problems. Okay. So we need to handle the real objection and really have that confidence and conviction in what it is that we offer to be able to solve that problem. Okay. So follow-ups that actually close. And we're not going to be doing the just checking in, just following up. How many people do that? Just checking in, just following up. It's like, ugh, I know what you're doing, right? So why not just call it out? Hey, so and so, I've been thinking about the thing that we were talking about, the thing that you were struggling with. Have you had a chance to think it over if that's their thing that they ended up leaving it with? Have you had a chance to look at the money? Have you had a chance to talk to your husband? Have you had a chance to make a decision? Okay. We're going to call out the thing that they were focusing on. Hey, so and so, I've been thinking about you and how you said you didn't hit your goals this month with your financial, like your financial goals this month. Have you had a chance, insert thing? Have you had a chance to look at your budget? Have you had a chance to look at your finances? Have you had a chance to do this? Okay. The next one, let's say they ghost you for that. No big deal. We do three strikes, you're out type of thing in my book. Okay. We're going to follow up three times. And if they're not interacting at all, if they're not reading, if they're not liking, if they're not anything, three strikes, you're out. But if they double click this, or if they respond to this, or if they see this, or, if they interact or engage in any way, that starts the thing over. Okay. So let's say they don't say anything. All right. Hey, I know you're in the thick of it with whatever is happening. Hey, I know life is busy. Hey, I blah, 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 whatever it was that they said. I keep coming back to what you said about what your goal is, what you want and need. Are you still wanting to make this happen? Is this still a priority for you? Is this still something that you want to shift in your life? Okay. And then the last one. Hey, so and so, this is my last message. If now's not the time, I totally get it. But if it is, and you want to move forward, let me know by insert deadline. Either way, I'm rooting for you. Okay. Insert deadlines. Can you let me know by Friday at midnight? Can you let me know by Monday end of day? Can you let me know by December 31st? Like, give them a timeline, and then you and them both have that expectation of, okay, if I don't get back to her by then it's a no. If I don't get back to her by then these bonuses are off the table. If I don't get back to her by then I'm just shit out of luck. Okay. Another thing that you can do is, hey, so and so, if they haven't responded to you, is have you given up on this? Super simple. And that will elicit a yes or a no or some type of engagement. Have you given up on this? Is this no longer a priority for you? Has anybody used that before? Put that one in there, or the ghosting one. Like sometimes I'll joke around and I'll be like, did I just get ghosted? People will laugh about it. It's all good. I think sometimes we just take this so seriously that we're like forgetting that we're talking to humans on the other side. So, how do you want someone to talk to you? How do you want to have a conversation? Okay. And so, when you start to do these things, when you start to ask the hard questions, when you start to move the needle forward, you can close deals in days, not weeks. You will stop wasting your time and other people's time on people that were never going to buy in the first place. And when you start to move the needle forward, you get more responses, you get more calls booked, you get more sales. Guess what? You get more confident. And when you are more confident, you show up in a bigger way on those sales calls. You show up in a bigger way in your business. You show up as the leader that you're supposed to be, that you're meant to be, and you don't have time for all the BS anymore. Okay. And your close rate will go up. Most people will come to me and they'll have like a 10%, 20%, 30% sometimes close rate. You can literally double that by asking the right questions, leading with authority, having that confidence and conviction in what it is that you offer, and presenting the value stacking in a way so that when you get to the offer, it's like, oh man, this makes total sense. Yes, let's find a way to make it happen. Okay. And this is where you can 10x your results without spending more time. Because if you can bump your close rate from 20% to 50%, guess what? It's still the same 10 calls that you're taking in a week, but now you're making five sales instead of two sales. So, what would it mean for you based on what your product or service is right now? What would five sales do for you this month? Put the income in the chat. What would your income be if you got five more sales this month or just five sales in general? What would that be for you? I'm curious. And this is a gal that I talked to literally yesterday. This screenshot, actually, these screenshots are both from this past week. Okay. Yesterday, I had a power session with her. She started sending out her follow-up DMs and got two calls booked immediately. Immediately. Okay. By doing the same things that I'm telling you guys right now. Same with this gal. She had been worried about how she was going to present her 90-day offer. We mapped out her 90-day offer. I told her how to follow up with people who had been engaging with her, and she literally had a call within like that same day, 24 hours after we had our conversation. Okay. This is possible. Five new clients would roughly get me 3.5. Okay. 500 to 5,000, just kind of probably depends on what it is that they're buying. But let's say that, $3,500, like what would that mean for you? What would that actually mean for you to have almost $4,000 a month extra by closing five deals, right? What would it mean for you to have 5,000 extra dollars each month by closing five deals? What does that actually mean? Does that mean paying your bills on time? Does that mean buying the vacation? Does that mean getting a new wardrobe? Does that mean that you can now put your kids in the sports that they wanted to be in? Does it mean that you can buy a new horse? Like, what does that actually mean for you to have that extra money every month? Okay, because it's not about just the pile of cash. I mean, great if you have a pile of cash, that's awesome. You can, throw it around and swim in it, whatever. But what do you get to do with that money? What does that money actually do for you and for your family? Okay. Yeah, savings, trips, animals. Yeah, I'm like an animal person. I'm like, I want to buy another dog. I want to buy another horse. I want to buy this thing. I want to go on vacation. Right? I want to set my family up for their financial future too. So I'm going to invest in their accounts. I'm going to invest in my account. A lot of times business owners don't have their own retirement. So maybe you open an IRA or a Roth IRA and you start actually investing in your future. What would that mean for you too? Okay. Took me to three countries this year. Yeah, traveling, entry fees, paying bills, a new horse trailer. Ooh, I feel you with the horse trailer. Like, I have a 2019 horse trailer, but I want a bigger one with anyways, I digress. That's on my wish list too. Okay. All right. So then we're going to 10x our activity. Okay. How many people here feel like they're doing everything manually? Responding to every DM manually, all your follow-ups manually, you're putting reminders maybe in your calendar manually, check-ins manually. Like, how many people here have a pretty manual process for how they are doing things? Just put yes or no in the chat. I feel that way. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, all of it. Yes. And it's exhausting, isn't it? Like, I remember when I had to do everything manually, and it's like, oh my gosh, like this takes up so much dang time, so much dang time. And so you either, one of two things happens, you burn yourself out because you are like hustling to get it all done, or you can't keep up with it. You don't have a system in place. You don't have the automations in place. And so people go cold. And you're like, shit, I meant to follow up with this person, but now it's been a month. What do I say now? And so then we get in our own head about how we follow up with those people. Okay. So, what 10xing your activity really means, it's like I said with the closing rate, it's not about doing more, it's about doing more movement in your pipeline. It's about having quality questions that you're asking in the DMs, about booking the right calls, and about closing the right deals. It's more conversations starting, okay? It's more follow-ups happening and more deals moving forward. And so, how many people here, what's the main source of you guys getting through or getting clients? Is it social media? Is it referrals? Is it networking? Is it cold outreach? is it ads? Like, what's the number one way that you guys are getting um, people right now? Because that's another thing that you can automate too. Facebook and LinkedIn, social media, returning customers, word of mouth. Okay. Cold outreach, social media, and referrals. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, reason I ask is because some of these things can be automated. Okay. Obviously, cold calling, that's a hard thing to automate, but you can delegate it when you get to a certain level in your business and hire somebody to then do your cold calling for you if you choose, or your cold outreach or anything like that. Okay. But what we want to have is a CRM system that runs itself. So when people come into your pipeline, it is moving them through a deal, where they're at in the process, whether they're a new lead, a call book, proposal sent, follow up needed, what you need to do next, and then nurture sequences that will then help build that know, like, and trust to move that person forward too. Okay. So, how I have my stuff set up is I have a CRM system. And so I have two systems actually. I have like a website and a marketing system, and then I have a sales specific CRM system where we do calls, texts, and some emails from. And so when somebody falls into my pipeline, that is what we're doing. It automatically will update them as what type of lead they are, create an opportunity, assign them to a person. So, when it was me, it would assign them to me. And then immediately it would create a task for me to touch base with them, to follow up with them. And this is where a new lead drops into my network. Okay. So this is from Facebook ads. This is from somebody taking my quiz. This is somebody, coming in from a referral. They fill out a form and boom, it puts them into my CRM and tells me what information I have on them. Okay. And then from there, we can add certain tags, we can add certain automations, we can, automate our follow-ups, we can, put different things in there so that you're not always having to do everything manually. You can do templates, you can do tasks. There's all kinds of things that will really help simplify this. And really, it can cost you as little as like 20 bucks a month, 50 bucks a month. And so, with how much time you're saving, it is well worth the investment. Okay. And so, after this workshop, I'll send a link to the one that I'm using. But honestly, any type of CRM that you are using that can help you automate this stuff will be so helpful. Okay. And then having a deals pipeline, moving them through the deals pipeline. What is each deal worth? Where are they at in the process? And what do you need to do? Are they a one deal? Are they a lost deal? Are they a follow-up deal? That way you can also see how much money you have in the pipeline right now. Okay. And sometimes that is motivation in and of itself. If you have 10 active people in the pipeline and each one of those people is worth $5,000, okay, total, that's $50,000 in the pipeline that you have. Okay. Like that can be a weekly thing. And obviously, you're not going to have 100% of yeses all the time. But when you can see who is in the pipeline and where they're at, what stage they're at, and what opportunities are available, I think you'll see how much money you are actually leaving on the table by not doing these tasks. Okay. A lot of people will be very mind blown when they're like, holy crap, I have $250,000 worth of opportunities in my pipeline right now, and I have no process for how to follow up with them, no process for them to go. Okay. And so what I have is when somebody books a call, they have an automatic confirmation and a reminder sequence that happens. I don't do anything there. Okay. Every now and then I will also send a personalized text or a personalized email, but I have an automatic call confirmation. I have automatic reminders. And then I also have automatic follow-ups with next steps. So this is the thing that we're going to send you based on where you're at in your business. Are you good for this level, or this level, or is it not a fit right now? And here's some resources for you. Have all of these templates set aside. That way you can tag people with where they're at in the process and have a nurture sequence. So you build it once and then set it and forget it type of thing. Okay. The other thing that I do here is I have zaps set up where it will then add them to specific things. So it'll zap it into my Slack that says, somebody booked a call, or add it into here that somebody booked a call. And so you can have Zapier systems that will then automate a lot of this stuff for you too. And again, very low cost for what it's going to save you in time. I think it's, again, like 20 or $30 a month to have some of these systems. and it will save you so much time. Okay. Another thing that happens in the CRM is if you send a text or send an email, there's a thing that you can check that says check in if they don't reply. Okay. So you can select that and then it will pop up a task for you to follow up with them in a specific amount of time if they don't reply to you. Okay. And let's say they're a no, not right now. Hey, follow up with me in 30 days. Great. Have a nurture sequence dedicated for those people in that stage of the follow up. And you could even take it one step further and tag them with specific objections. So if somebody has financial objections, send them through a nurture sequence with financial objections. If they have spouse objections, send them through a nurture sequence with spouse objections where you've helped somebody, excuse me, overcome those things. And then that way they're getting fed that information. Maybe you have podcasts, maybe you have blogs, maybe you have testimonials. You can automate these things so that they're still getting nurtured either through text or email without you having to do all the follow-ups. And then after that nurture sequence finishes, then it can set a reminder for you to do a personal touch, to do a personal outreach, to do a phone call, to do a personal text message. Okay. That way you don't have to feel like you're nagging people. It's all just set up, set it and forget it. Okay. And you won't have to do any of that stuff manually. And we'll go through questions here in a bit so that you guys can, ask me how anything is set up. I'm not going to go so much on this because I think everybody here knows the value of batch work, but we need to be batching our content. We need to be batching our DM responses. We need to be batching our follow-ups. And so put these times on your calendar and make a power hour out of it. This is what I'm going to do all my DM responses. This is what I'm going to do all my follow-ups. I typically have a block in the morning and a block in the afternoon where I do outreach and follow-up, outreach and follow-up, outreach and follow-up. And that's just a thing every day. And you just make it part of your practice, part of your daily sales practices. Okay. So in the morning, you can check your pipeline, who's hot, who do you need to follow up with, respond to any DMs, book any calls, move any things forward, or afternoon, do your calls, do your content creation, evening, maybe you update your CRM and plan for tomorrow. Okay. That can be a daily rhythm. And the updating your CRM and planning for tomorrow takes like 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. It does not have to be this long thing. Usually I do mine in the afternoon. Okay. But they don't do this because they have tech resistance or they feel like it's not going to work for them or I don't have enough people yet or I'm not at the level that I want to be at yet. Okay, well, what if you got 100 clients tomorrow? Do you have the systems to be able to support it? Okay, most people say no. And so each week, I want you just to set up one thing that is going to save you time every single week. So maybe what you do this week is you find an automation that you set up for call bookings. Maybe what you do is you create a nurture sequence for somebody who's in a follow-up stage. What can you do to start saving your time on the back end? And so I have a big whiteboard here. I know you guys aren't able to see it, but part of my CEO Daily 6 is to fix the bottleneck. Like every day I will look and see what is the bottleneck that is today and how can I simplify this or remove the bottleneck. Okay. You guys know what I mean by bottleneck, like where something is like plugged and like you can't move fast enough. Okay. So that is one thing that I have on my CEO Daily 6 that needs to happen every day. Look for the bottleneck, fix the bottleneck. Okay. Is it people waiting on you for call booking links? Is it people waiting on you for follow-ups? Is it that you're not batching your content? What is the thing that you need to do in order to move the needle forward? Okay. And so when your system runs without you, you can handle more leads. You can handle more calls. Deals don't fall through the cracks. You know exactly where people are at in the process, and you have time to focus on selling versus like chaotically sitting down and wondering what I have to do today and who's on my hot list. Okay. This way, you know exactly who needs to move the needle forward, what you have on your call agenda for today, who's coming up next week, who you're checking in with, all of this stuff. It will simplify everything so that you can move needle forward faster in your business. Okay. And then you can be like these gals here where this was the first time that she had a $9,000 month. Okay. She ended up closing one more deal after this, and it ended up being a $12,000 month after that. So that was pretty cool to see. Or switching up your follow-up method, okay? Kind of like what we were doing in the beginning. Switch how you're talking to people and how you're following up with people so that you can get more engagement that way. All right. Remember, you're talking to another human. You're not a robot. Or you can, I mean, there's so many people here that are just closing calls, pay in full calls on the first call, sometimes the second call, just by asking the right types of questions. Okay. And so I want to talk here a little bit about objection handling and pre-framing and how to ask for the sale because most people are avoiding asking for the sale and most people are avoiding objection handling. But if we can pre-frame our calls, a lot of times that will help with the objection handling and help ask for the sale. All right. So objection handling, it's too expensive. How many people have heard this one? Too expensive. I can't afford that. Okay. You know, most people will be like, oh, okay, well, let me know if something changes in the future. Okay, well, let me know if things change. Okay. What you can say instead is, I get it. Can I ask what's the, what is an investment or monthly payment that you feel comfortable with? Or other times I will remove that objection completely and be like, okay, if it wasn't for the money, would this be something that you would do today? Okay. If we can find a way to make it work into, your budget, but stretch it a little bit, would that be something that you want to move forward with? Okay. Is it that you've never spent this much? Is it that you've never spent this much on this specifically? Is it that you have $0 in your account? Is it that you have no money budgeted for this specifically? So we want to get clarity on what they mean by it's too expensive because sometimes it's just a mismatch in value. Like they maybe don't think that it's worth the thing that you're saying. Okay. But either way, we want to really find out what's going on behind the it's too expensive. Okay. It could be fear of failure, fear of success. Maybe they actually have $0. Maybe they just don't have access or don't know how to find access to funding. Because how many times have I know I have, and maybe I'm a good, bad example, but there's been times where I'm like, yeah, I can't afford that, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I know I'm probably not the only person that has done that. Okay. And without regret, too. There's some times where I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna come hell or high water, I'm gonna find a way to make it work. Because that's what type of, person I am. And so ask your people that, like, if you had to find a way, would you find a way? Okay. And you'll see how committed they are. All right. I need to think about it. How many people get this one? Need to think about it. Yep. Okay, take your time, get back to me whenever. Nope, we're not gonna say that. All good. Most people need to think about big decisions. What specifically do you need to think about? Again, going back to this, we talked about this in the beginning, but we want to figure out what is underneath the think about it. What do you need to think about? What can I provide you that will help you make this decision? Okay. What do we need to do to help them think about it? What do they need to think about specifically? Okay. And so, how we can pre-frame these, we pre-frame them so that we're handling objections before they come up. On the call, you can even bring up like, what's your budget for something like this? Here I know the investment is always a consideration. Here's how to think about it. Okay. I would say something like, have you thought about what you can budget for? Or is this something that's a priority for you right now? Or, is there anybody else that's the decision maker that you need to bring into this call? What is your straight up sometimes asking people like, what is your credit score? Do you have access to financing? Like all of that stuff. Okay. Getting a clear picture on where people are at in the beginning so that they then don't become objections. Or, if somebody is concerned about if it's working for, if it's going to work for them, you can, say like, hey, what have you tried in the past? What did you like? What didn't you like? You know, um, and even giving testimonials to go along with that. Okay. But you're addressing these concerns before they become objections. So even if people are putting in their call form, like struggling with money, struggling with time, struggling with, whatever it is that they are struggling with, bring that up too. Hey, so and so, I saw that on the forum you said that, money was a concern for you. Can we just go ahead and talk about that right now and get that out of the way? Hey, so and so, I know you said that you have to ask for your husband's permission. Can I ask you, is he able to join the call today, or do we need to reschedule this call so that he can be there if he's the decision maker? Okay. Things like, and it's okay to reschedule the call, you guys. This is where you have to stand true to you. Don't continue a phone conversation if somebody's going to say, my husband is going to make the decision for me. Rebook the call when their husband is available. Okay. I'm not a husband asker, permissioner type of person. Like I will just do the things that I want to do when I want to do them and tell him afterwards type of thing. But I know that there's some people that actively have to have that conversation. Great. Let's bring him to the phone call so that I can talk to both of you at the same time. Because you know what happens in the game of telephone. Okay. Doesn't matter how much information you give them, something will be misconstrued. Okay. And so instead of being like, hey, what do you think? Da 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 da. It's based on everything you shared. This is exactly what I think you need. Are you ready to move forward? Okay. Is this something that you want to do today? Where are you at with this on a scale from 1 to 10? Okay. And that's another one that I like is because then you can gauge how serious people are. And if they're anything under an 8, then ask them what would make it a 10. And you can even go negative with it. Is there any reason for you not to move forward today? Or is there anything that would hold you back from saying yes right now? And see what comes up for them. Okay. Um, here's a few more, and I know we're kind of running short on time. We got about 10 minutes left here, and so I want to get to some questions and the giveaway. So I'll give you guys access to this too. But instead of saying, hey, do you just want to hop on a call? It's like, what's your biggest challenge right now? Okay. Like what have you already tried to fix this? And hey, I have this time and this time tomorrow. Are you available for a quick phone call to see if we can solve this? Okay. We want to be specific in how we are asking questions. And you want to make sure that you are also relaying the value of having a conversation. It's not just, hey, we're going to hop on here and talk this, and this. It's show them that you understand and that you can actually solve their problem. Okay. This is where you can also say like, hey, I've solved it for this person, and this person. And I feel like I can do it for you too. Okay. They're not just going to book calls just to book calls. Those are the people that end up ghosting. They're going to book a call because they see value in the call. Okay. So give them the value that's going to help convert them. Okay. Let's see here. Um, Okay. And then, yeah, this is what we just covered. So, but what I want to talk about next is like, we can talk about this all day long, but the thing that you guys need to do is actively go do it. Doing and thinking are two different things. So I want you to walk away from this, yes, with notes and ideas, but I also want you to walk away with it with a plan, with support, and something teaching you exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Okay. So every day, what you're going to do is set aside time for your outreach, set aside time for your follow-ups, set aside time for your sales calls, set aside time for all of these things. And then every day, or at least once a week, I want you to create a system or an automation, an SOP on how you can rinse and repeat something so that it's not taking more time and energy from you. Okay. So, like my CEO daily 6 is move 3 deals forward. Like that's a non-negotiable every day. Make one offer to somebody, fix the bottleneck, post authority content, check on my team outputs and their metrics, and then reset and ground myself. Those are like my non-negotiables every single day. Okay. And so we want to make sales a primary focus. Yes, marketing is important and we need to put our stuff up there, but we also need to make sure that we're having those conversations. Okay. And so Sales Mama School is exactly where this happens. I teach women just like you how to sell their offers without feeling like they're being pushy, without burning out, and without winging it. You get access to all of my stuff, depending on what level you are at. And so for the majority of you here, I think the root level is where folks are going to start. Okay, we want to hit those 10K months. We want to get that consistent 10K months. We need to have our foundations in place. We need to have our systems in place, and we need to have the confidence to ask the right questions, when to ask the right questions, and how to close those deals. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And then we'll get into our winners for today too. So what you get in Sales Mama School is twice a week coaching calls. So we have sales skills, we have sales role playing, we have business growth, we have mindset. I teach all of those things. We review pipelines, we review sales calls, we review landing pages, we review social media content, all of that stuff. And I will show you my exact CRM setup. I will show you what my automations look like. I will show you what systems I use. And that will just save you tons of time, tons of energy. And then you can focus those things on other things, making more sales or, spending time with your family. I also have sales scripts. We have objection handling frameworks, different DM templates, call templates, follow-up templates, email templates, like just about everything that you can think of that will help you move the needle forward. And this is actually Slack access, so not Voxer access, but I do have Slack. And that's for me and the team if you have any quick questions. Okay. And this is where like that community happens where you can, ask other people questions, see what other people are doing, have that accountability, have that space where people will move the needle forward with you and for you. And that in and of itself is gold. Okay. And so what I want you to know right now is that the Sales Mama root level is 497 a month or 4997 for the year. Pricing is going up. We are adding some few things in. This is what I call the grandmother pricing, not grandfather pricing. But anyways, when you join at the 497 level, so depending on if you're at monthly or quarterly or semi-annual or annual, there's different payment options. You lock that price in. So if you join for now for Root, you lock that price in for as long as you have the program. As long as you don't leave and come back, you will lock in that 497 a month pricing. Okay. And then for those of you who are on this call and have registered for this training, I'm also going to give you some bonuses. But basically, if you close one client a month, that's going to they'll more than pay for the program itself. Okay. Most people will end up making back their entire investment within 30 days, within 60 days, and absolutely within 90 days. Okay. And so for those of you who are here today, what is going to happen is if you join Root during this call or within 24 hours after, you will get my Q1 launch kit. This is going to give you the DM scripts to reactivate any old leads and new leads. I'm going to give you email templates. I'm going to give you 30-day follow-up sequences. And then the other one that I'm going to give you is my sales mastery pack. So we're going to have a consultation call script. This is going to be my mother method that I walk people through on how to close deals, what questions to ask, how to ask them, how to frame, how to pre-frame, how to objection handle, and then also giving you the most common objections and exactly what to say and how to say them. And these are things that we will also role play on our Tuesday, Thursday calls. Okay. So this is everything that's going to be very helpful in closing deals this week, this month, Q1, just like what those screenshots were saying earlier. I mean, you can get calls booked pretty dang quick when you're using these types of things and have the support to be able to help you navigate what that question or that conversation looks like going beyond. And so if you're under that 10K a month level right now and you want to get to that 10K or more a month, this is where Root is. That's exactly what Sales Mama Root is for. It's for building your foundation. It's for getting the systems. It's for getting the processes. And it is for you up leveling in your business. Okay. And so you can either click the link. I think one of the gals will pop it in the chat here, or you can book a call with Alexis. Alexis is also a graduate of Sales Mama School. So you can see specifically how it has helped her in her career, in her business, and how she's been able to, I mean, she crossed the six-figure mark not even 6 months into the year. So, I mean, if she can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. So go ahead and look at those two links there. But this is definitely something that if you're looking for sales support, this is everything that we've talked about from, marketing to sales to closing, all of that stuff is going to be in there. And so definitely book a call with Alexis if you want to learn more, or if it's something that you want to do right now, lock in the 497. Okay. Um, and so hopefully my team has the winners up. assuming they do. So we're gonna go through. But you can see, I mean, we've had lots of success with this. So a lot of gals are just doing really well. Um, okay, two VIP sessions for two folks who have been here today. So let's see, we have Marina and Michaela Shaw. So you guys are the VIP winners. I want you to send an email to support@salesmama.biz, and that will be where you can claim that VIP session. Okay. Q&A time. Does anybody have any specific questions for us, or otherwise I will just read through these questions and kind of give you guys the yes, congrats, ladies. Um, yep, and click those links. Yep, congrats. Okay. All right. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through these questions here for the live training and then also the Sales Mama School questions and see what comes up for you guys. So, how do I know if somebody is actually qualified or just wasting my time? Um, so this is where we have pre-qualifying questions. This is where like the DM scripts come in and it's asking questions like, what are you struggling with? What is what's your big vision? What is it that you want to create? How big of a problem is this for you? What is it causing in your everyday life? How soon are you looking to, solve this problem? And so you can also ask people like, is this a curiosity thing or are you committed to solving this problem right now? And so based on those are how I would pre-qualify and see if somebody was actually interested or just wasting my time. How would you follow up with somebody that canceled a call for tomorrow? They got the reminder email and then canceled without reschedule. So I would say to them, hey, so and so, I noticed that you canceled our call tomorrow. Did you want to go ahead and reschedule that? Or did something else come up and this is no longer aligned? Like just straight up, this is what I would do. I do that even if people cancel the same day. I'm like, hey, so and so, I saw that you canceled. Was that intentional or did you mean to reschedule? Something like that, but just call it like it is. Hey, I'd love to still connect with you. I have this time and this time, because sometimes people will just cancel because they are not looking, they're just not looking for another time. And then other times people are like, nope, I found something else, da 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 da. So I would just ask for more clarity around it. Alexa's put her link in the chat too, so you guys can book a call with her. What if I follow up and they ghost me? Should I keep reaching out? This is my three strikes you're out type of thing. So if they're, double tapping them, if they're seeing them, if they're still engaging with my social media, if they're still opening my emails, I will continue to follow up with them. And a lot of times I'll be funny about it. I'll be like, hey, are you ghosting me? Like, hey, what happened? Like you were so into this and now this happened. What's shifted? So I just call it out. Like I just call out the awkwardness, give it life because otherwise it's weird, right? We don't want that elephant in the room. So it's like, hey, I've sent you three messages. Are you ghosting me now? Did life happen? Did something happen? Let me know if this is still aligned or not. And so I just seek clarity in a lot of my conversations. But if they like are ghosting me after three times and they're still not interacting with any of my stuff, bless and release. Okay. How do I set up my CRM without getting overwhelmed? This is where I say pick one thing a week, fix the bottleneck, and you can do it daily or you can do it weekly. But think about where you are spending the most time and energy and how you can create a system or a process or an automation around that. And just do one per week to start. And that will really help keep things from being super overwhelming. Okay. And then what's the biggest mistake women make when trying to close deals? The biggest one that I see is one, they just don't ask for the sale. They'll say, oh, here's all the information and see you later. That's the number one thing. So make sure we're always asking for the sale. Hey, do you want to move forward today? Just like you guys. It's like, hey, this is how you move forward. I would love for you guys to work with me in Sales Mama School. This is the next step. You can click the link here to register, or you can book a call with Alexis. Okay, like it's very straightforward, and we do the same thing on sales calls. It's like, hey, what's the thing that's stopping you? How can we help you make this a reality? Okay. And so making sure we're asking for the deal. And then the other thing is they just don't follow up like at all. And most people take 8 or more follow-ups before they close the deal. If you don't get them on the first one, it can take 8 or more follow-ups before somebody actually moves the needle forward and says yes. Okay. Last question here. Can I really hit my revenue goal in Q1 or is this unrealistic? I don't think anything's unrealistic. And so I think what you can What I would do is see how much you made this year and how much you made in Q1 last year and set an expectation. Hey, I want to double what I made in Q1 last year. Hey, I want to hit a third of my revenue goal for the year in Q1. And I like to have good, better, best goals. So I'll have like what it needs to be, and then I'll have a better and a best. And I always shoot for best. And then that way, if I end up at better or good, then I'm still in the clear. So don't be afraid to go big with your goals. Like I think a lot of times people underestimate how much they can actually get done. So, okay. Sales Mama School Q&A. What's the difference between Root, Rise, and Reclaim? Root is for those who are under the 10K mark. You get access to all of the curriculum and our weekly calls and the community. And then Rise is all of that plus one-on-one in there and additional accountability. And then Reclaim is our done for you type of service. So we'll help you build automations, build funnels. We'll help you map out, what your quarters look like. It's a lot more hands-on support. And so most people start with the base level and then move up from there. And then for anybody who joins right now, they do get access, 3 months access to Rise as well. I'll share you guys that with you guys too. So you get to trial that for free for 3 months if you join at the root level. So you will get that one-on-one and Slack access, and then be able to lock in that pricing for $497 a month. And then do I get access to you or is it just group coaching? The weekly calls are group coaching. And then you do get direct access to me and the team Monday through Friday. Sometimes we're on the weekends, but mostly it's just Monday through Friday. But you can ask me any questions in Slack. You can send me videos. You can send me voice messages in there. And we do a lot of check-ins and accountability in there. So like if you're on a sales call and you need help closing a deal, or if you're in the DMs and you want to review some conversations, like we do all of that. I mean, you can do that in the group or you can do it privately. Okay. And then what if I join and it doesn't work for me? Everybody who has joined and has shown up to the calls, done the things, it has worked for them. It's worked for everybody that we've worked with. And so I do have a double your money guarantee. So if you join at the like not at the monthly, but if you join at one of the pay in full memberships, you will double your money within the 90 days or we will refund you. Because if you're showing up and doing the things like we say, it will work. It has worked for everybody else. There's no reason why it won't work for you too. Okay. And how fast can I see results? I mean, there's some people who have doubled their money in 2 weeks. So it just really depends on how quickly you want to hit the ground running. Some people have a lot more warm leads than others. But most people will double their investment within 90 days. So that's something that, you can plan on, but some people have even done it within a couple of weeks. So it really just depends on what your pipeline looks like. And yes, you can really lock in the 497 pricing for life for that level as long as you are an active member. So okay. Any other questions that you guys have before we hop off? I really enjoy doing these. I love, getting to know you guys on a little bit deeper level in your businesses and, what are some of the things that are stopping you or slowing you down. But ultimately, it's making sure that, you're every single day. I tell my people 3 to 5 new conversations every day, 3 to 5 new conversations every day. And that can be networking, that can be cold outreach, that can be, any of that. But that is what's going to help compound over time. And then having the CRM systems to be able to simplify your follow-ups and have the automations and the tools to be able to, simplify that on the back end so you're not taking up more time. Thank you. This was very informative and useful. Good. I'm glad you guys liked it. I feel like there's always so much more that I can say, but trying to get as much information into, 60 to 90 minutes as I possibly can. So, I would love for you guys to, yeah, book a call with, Alexis. I think a couple of you have already done that. And so Q1 is just a few weeks away, guys. I would love for you to really hit the ground running in 2026. This year has been the year of the snake, which is lots of shedding and lots of getting rid of things that no longer serve us. And 2026 is the year of the horse. So we're going to go strong and we're going to be committed and we're really going to hit the ground running and hit those goals. Got to run, but thanks for everything. I'll reach out for the VIP. Appreciate you and your time more than you guys know. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And Alexis says, if we've already met, you're welcome to rebook with me. Yep. Or, I mean, Alexis will share her entire story with you too. So she's wonderful. You guys will love her. And if you have questions, you can also shoot me a message, Sasha at salesmama.biz, or shoot me a message on Sasha.Davis Instagram or the Sales Mama School Instagram, and happy to continue the conversation. So thank you, ladies, for being here. Uh, Go crush your goals in 2026. All right. We'll catch y'all later. Bye.